Welcome to the walkthrough video for Beaufort, the brass collection for the triumphant sound of classic Hollywood, the sound you might associate with John Williams or Alan Silvestri's most well-known works. Beaufort is designed specifically for creating this sound, using some unique articulations and focusing carefully on the very onset of the notes for a special accented attack. Let's dive into the library and explore what it has to offer. As you can see, everything is in just 4 folders. Trumpets and horns contain a solo instrument and an ensemble, and the other 2 groups are ensembles only. The fun starts when you open up each instrument and look at the articulations. There are a lot of articulations here, and if you open up everything, you'll see that the articulations are extremely consistent across all instruments. As we go through the articulations here, you'll see why this is especially important in Beaufort. You probably already noticed that there are a total of 6 different sustains patches. These long notes feature different attacks and note transitions, so you have various options to work with. Let's start out with the different accented sustains. These are, in a way, the core of each instrument. You'll see there are different types to choose from. Each type has a slightly different attack. While the sustains accented sharp have a snappy, precise attack with a noticeable bite, the sustains accented bold have a more rounded attack. Not too soft by any means, but without the bite. The sustains maestoso have an even more rounded attack that's almost bell-like. Well, let's listen to the difference. As for the 2 remaining sustains patches, the sustains melodic are the ones to use for, you guessed it, melody lines. The regular sustains patch offers smoother dynamics. On these, as well as on the legatos, we did some external modeling to smooth out the crossfades between the different dynamic layers. It gives you a much smoother dynamic range, but the neat thing is, you can also choose to remove the filtered layers, simply deactivate them in the Dynamics tab. Mostly, you'll be better off using the Enhanced Dynamics, but the pure option also has its own sound. Have a listen. First, the original Dynamics, and then the enhanced version. One more thing about the sustains. You might have just noticed that all of the sustains have a slight crescendo at their end. This is intentional. We did this to mimic the behavior of the brass players anticipating a new note after the one being played. Onwards to the Marcatos. We recorded an extensive range of different attacks, note lengths, and variations. The Marcatos are divided into 2 types, adventure and maestoso. Here, too, each type has a different attack. The Marcato long adventure notes have a sharper attack, and the Marcato long maestoso have the more rounded attack. The same goes for the short Marcatos. The idea here is to provide a consistent set of articulations. We'll let the trumpets demonstrate this, followed by the low brass. Because the sound of Beaufort is so specific, we recorded some special articulations that make it easier for you to write in that style. For example, this one, Marcato in a row. The name already tells you pretty much what it is. We recorded the players playing 2 notes in succession, then edited the recordings to make playable single notes. The result is a special articulation that gives you highly realistic Marcato repetitions. Another version of this technique, if you will, is the playable short repetitions. This patch, as the name implies, is wonderfully playable, great for very fast repetitions, and extremely helpful for fanfare-like phrases. Because these sounds are specifically intended for fast note repetitions, using them in conjunction with the staccatos and staccatissимos and the actual synced repetitions, you can create highly agile passages that sound extremely expressive and realistic. Here's an example using the solo trumpet. And now we'll add the solo horn. Okay, so before we dive into the dynamics, let's take a look at the legatos. Although Beaufort isn't really designed for fluid melody playing, these legato patches give you some great options for more lyrical passages. This is how they sound. Now, let's take a look at the various mic position options you get in Beaufort. There are 10 different positions to work with. You can go from a really close, beefy sound to the wide and expansive Air Lyndhurst sound, and everything in between. A range of mid-range mics offer a nice middle ground to add focus to the sound without losing the depth of the room. There are also 2 decatree options, our regular tree and an alternative tree titled Tree Alt. The regular tree gives you the tried and tested OT sound, and the alternative tree is a little brighter. The sound of the Lyndhurst Hall is quite similar to the Teldex sound. Beaufort will blend perfectly with your other OT collections. We'll finish this walkthrough showcasing the various effects we recorded for Beaufort. All instruments offer an expressive forzando, 3 types of crescendo, and 2 decrescendos. These details make all the difference in making a piece sound natural and realistic. Have a listen to them in action on the solo horn. So that brings us to the end of this walkthrough. If you haven't already done so, go to orchestraltools.com and check out the audio demos for Beaufort. They demonstrate nicely what's possible and let you hear the sounds in context. And in case you were wondering, why is it called Beaufort? We named it after Francis Beaufort, the inventor of the Beaufort scale for measuring wind power. A unique collection deserves an illustrious name. Thanks for watching. Have fun with Beaufort.